The only questions I would have, and just going back, you said that she was having like these visions of like were you ever privy enough to understand or be told what those visions were?
A couple of them.
What were the two that they should tell you about?
So like one of them, she was walking along the beach with Jesus, and Jesus challenged her to go walk on the water, and it was a whole lesson on walking on the water. Another, she would walk with Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother, and she learned about, she had a pet lion in heaven named Charles. I don't know why I never forgot that name, but it was like this massive lion, and she got to ride the lion and learned that, you know, all about who she was and this pet lion and all. There was another one where there was a lot of satanic ones where when she would go into possession mode, she would talk in like different voices. It was really creepy, but the voices would say, she's ours, we're not letting go, she is Satan's bride, she's mine, I'm going to marry her. You know, so if she was faking it, she believed that she was trying to, or Satan wanted her as her bride.
And then you said, just clarifying, so the last time you saw the kids was when you separated that in July, is that what I'm thinking? Of 2022. Do you have any questions for us?
No, I'm just really interested in the pen papers. Like, for my own curiosity, I want to know what was going on and all of those little interventions. And
I'll look back through the photos because, like I said, we documented everything in the home, whether we took it or if we didn't. And then I'll reach out to Mr. Kester and let you know.
So I have
But
a couple of observations when you're done.
yeah, go for it.
So I always thought it was interesting, now that you mentioned that she was riding a lion, Kevin told me that when they were having these group meetings, she would never show up. She would show up on the WebEx, but in place of her person would just be this X for the connections. So it's like this Wizard of Oz thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that
she
was
never
kind
showed
of,
her face.
kind of eerie.
She
Yeah.
always covered herself.
Yeah.
Like, even in the hottest of summer, she would wear these hoodies. She would smell so bad.
Yeah.
She would
Mhm.
never bathe, but she was trying to hide her arms and stuff because apparently Ruby told me they were just like mutilated. And
So the other thing that I think it's important for them to know is during that whole time when you were out, you only had communication with Ruby maybe 3 or 4 times. But
Yeah.
that each time, or at least on some of the occasions you spoke to her, she's telling you that everything's blissful, we're doing well, you know, everything's so much better without you. And
oh, that would be communicated to me by Jody every week.
okay.
And the men's groups too. And it was just like, you're abandoning your family. And it always hurt so bad because it's like, I want to be with my family so bad. What do you mean I'm abandoning them? If you wanted to be with your family, you would change. You would stop being selfish. But you keep being selfish, so you want it. And it was just felt like, well, how do I stop wanting it then? It's like, then you must change. Well, how do I change? Well, you gotta want it. Well, what? You know, so how do I want it? You gotta change. It's this like
Perpetual cycle.
yeah, there's no, I tried to find my way into that cycle, and it felt like, have you ever had a dream where there's like a problem you're trying to solve but you can't solve it, and how frustrating you feel? That's what my life felt like. And as I'm looking back and I'm realizing there was no solution. There was you either had Jody's approval or you didn't. I wasn't doing anything different than the other men in the group. But they got her approval, so they were praised and they were repenting and they were doing everything right. I, on the other hand, was manipulative and selfish and enabling and all blah, 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 blah. And she became like the arbiter of truth, the arbiter of forgiveness, God's own mouthpiece. And it was just messed up.
Well, I'm glad that you're seeing
Realizing that.
clearly, you know, and
Coming out of the
kind of
fog.
came out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
One last
Mhm.
discussion. So, in the home, when the warrant was issued, there was a bag with $85,000 cash in
Yes.
it. And I understand her lawyer, Ruby's lawyer, has all that
I'm not.
Which home are we talking about?
Ivan.
In Ivans?
in the Ivan's home.
We don't know. The money was left where it was left. We didn't take
Yeah.
it. The house was secured when we left. We're assuming that Lamar Windward
Yeah,
was
he
able
has
to
it.
retrieve it. But we don't, I can't tell you
Yeah.
one or the other. if we do.
So, here's kind of the issue. That money, she cleaned out their bank accounts.
The kids' savings accounts.
Yeah, and yours too, your joint account.
Yeah.
That's where that money came from.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you can have, or if I need to have a discussion with the county attorney. Kevin would kind of like his kids' money back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be civilly, so I would go address that.
Talk to Lamar. and
Lamar,
see,
yeah.
See what those funds are being used for.
I don't think he wants to give them up. And I wouldn't either if I
Yeah.
were him.
Yeah.
I think he's using it for attorney fees.
Yeah.
I don't know if the county attorney is gonna be able to separate that out, unless the judge has already separated it out. Even the county attorney's gonna look at it and go, it's civil, it's both your guys' money in some sense, and
But
then
if
have
you
to- the judge
did-
would have to divide that up to where it goes, we can do that. He's the county attorney one.
If you did go civil, though, I feel like that would be your fastest route to.
It's just dirty what she did.
Yeah.
She
No.
stole
Yeah.
money. She stole money from my 18-year-old son out there. And it's wrong.
Well, the other thing that you didn't, that, I don't know, I mean, there's a lot there, but I think they need to know that while Jody was living in your home, she was also purportedly giving therapy to Chad, and Chad was
Every
paying
week.
her. And he's like, what,
At that time, we
15,
were
16?
paying her.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't until Chad moved out that part of his therapy was he needed to pay for his own therapy. So at age 17, he was paying her $900 a month to get brainwashed.
Dad at 17?
He did.
What was he doing for work?
He worked at he's a lifeguard, basically.
Okay.
Lifeguard supervisor at
So
two
most of his
different rec
check.
centers.
Yeah.
So it was like the majority of his check was going to Jody.
He was paying her more than he's paying rent, wasn't he?
So,
3 times as much.
That's crazy.
She's not a nice
Obviously, you've
person.
seen her house, and what she has, she's making, there's a lot of money going around. And there's a lot of money, I don't know if we can, sorry, I've been a little sick. I'm not sure if we know where that money came from or where it went. Like, it doesn't seem like she's had an income within the past little bit, so.
Were her book sales
I can't imagine.
Anything?
I can't imagine they were. But, anyway, I need to get my kids.
Yeah, we'll
So
definitely
you're
let
good.
you go.
Thank
And
you.
You're
thank you
good.
so much for your time.
I
We appreciate
I
it.
want to cooperate though in anything related to Jody and Ruby and Pam.
Mhm.
And if I can help